Right, everyone, what's going on? United's interest in Gyökeres. Forgive the settings, I am on a road trip today in a car. It is raining quite heavily, we're on the motorway. United's interest in Gyökeres has moved from non-existent to speculative to serious, it seems. Now, there's quite a few outlets that seem to be talking the club into initial contact with Sporting to try and bring him to the club this summer. Obviously, used to work with Ruben Amorim. Obviously, that's going to be a massive factor in it. And obviously, Ruben Amorim has been a major reason in pushing for this. Supposedly, Ruben Amorim wasn't keen on United going for Delap. And maybe that had a factor in why he chose Chelsea. Maybe it wasn't a factor anyway. Maybe the Champions League thing was a factor overall. But this one's looking like it's going to rapidly develop. And with Mbeumo getting over the line, with Cunha getting over the line, United already spending best part of, or more than 100 mil on those two players. We came into this window needing to upgrade the forward line. With the shit show that we had last season of a front line that couldn't score in a brothel, when you then introduce Acuna, you introduce Mbeumo, if you're able to get Gyökeres, and even though it was, yes, it was the Portuguese league, but 53 goals, I don't give a fuck if you're playing Sunday league, that is going to translate to being a better forward line by levels to what we had last season. So we might go from fighting relegation to just pure mid-table, and maybe we'll even get over West Ham, AJ. Now, unfortunately, it's the likes of Caught Offside, Football 365. This isn't Ornstein reporting this, and that is a blow. The second the likes of Ornstein, Laurie Whitwell, them guys start reporting this, then we can start getting excited. There's no agreement on a fee, but there's supposedly a release clause which is more than acceptable, I think, for a player of this sort of quality. Somewhere in the region of 59, 60 million pound, under 100 million, way under 100 million for a player of this sort of quality. Now, I actually recorded a video last week where the title of the video was "What's Going On with Gyökeres?" because it wasn't just the fact that United hadn't pulled the trigger on him, but there was interest from others, including Arsenal. Arsenal obviously had been linked with a striker for a long time. I personally don't think Arsenal need a striker. I think it fundamentally changed the way that they play. But they've got a shortlist which has got Benjamin Sesko and supposedly Ivan Toney on it as well. It seems like they are very close to sealing the deal with Benjamin Sesko from Leipzig. He is younger. He is available for a similar fee. Obviously comes with a slightly different profile, which means that considering he's the only player, I think, that scored over 50 goals in Europe this season, Gyökeres, United might have a free run at him. Now, I don't know what that means in terms of salary. Obviously, there's people kicking off a little bit that we've given him Mbeumo 250k a week. I would imagine Gyökeres is going to be in that kind of ballpark, if not a little bit higher. I do think the relationship between Amorim and Gyökeres could give United a bit of an edge into bringing him over, but it still leaves a bit of a question in my head as to why is nobody else going for this kid when he's been as undeniably good as he has. And you can say, oh, people don't respect the Portuguese league, and you might have a point, but why? 53 goals, and let's be honest, he was scoring in European competition as well. It wasn't like it was just the Portuguese league. And from a tactical point, we know Viktor Gyokeres fits in Amorim's system. He flourished already in Amorim's system. 53 goals in 51 matches, all competitions this season, tells you exactly that he flourishes in this sort of system. And he's got the physicality. I think he's got the physicality to thrive in the Premier League. He's got the technical ability. We know he presses. He's got the direct running that sees him running in behind. He is a complete striker. He's not just a poacher. He's not just a fox in a box. He isn't just a target man. He is a bit of a modern day complete forward. And I think that's exactly what United need. I mean, I've got someone here that definitely knows about, he knows everything about football, and he's, I think he's a bit of a subject matter expert, actually. So I'm going to ask him real quick. DJ, what do you reckon, Gyökeres to United?
Definitely got talent. Calves are too big, arms are too small, and he fakes injuries too well. I can't respect it.
Oh, there you go. That's DJ's expert subject matter opinion on the topic. But either way, I think getting Gyökeres over the line is a bit of a tactical shortcut, I think, for United. You don't have to have a striker that needs to learn what Ruben Amorim wants. This is a striker that knows what Ruben Amorim wants. It's a polished, it's a ready-made option. The only question that you've got there is, can United actually afford to bring him in with the transfer fee? Are we waiting to get some sales out the door? The likes of Garnacho, the likes of Rasmus Højlund, the likes of, I mean, whether it's Mainu, whether it's Rashford, who knows? Like, we've got that many forwards to fuck off, honestly. But this week already, we've seen a real good start in terms of Mbeumo, in terms of Cunha. That was still this week. Like, there's been that much news already this week that those things have already happened. Getting a Gyökeres in, I don't think it's going to be this week. I think if there is going to be a thing with United and Gyökeres, I just got the vibe that it's going to run on at least for a few weeks. Because I think United need to long it out just to get the sales in. Like, we've got so much deadwood to get rid of. We've got so many people's contracts to get off the wage bill. I don't think it makes any level of sense to get him in now and potentially fuck ourselves up with PSR until you've got those sales at least like 90% done, if not all, signed, sealed and delivered. So Gyökeres to United, it ain't anywhere near a here we go, but it does seem like United are, from a board level, warming to the option. Ruben Amorim was always keen for obvious reasons. He worked with him. I don't know if some of us are, guarded after Ten Hag just brought half of Ajax and it clearly didn't work. Are we a bit more reluctant to bring in players from Sporting to follow Ruben Amorim? Just because it didn't work out with Ten Hag and the Ajax players doesn't mean that it wouldn't work out with Ruben Amorim bringing players that he's worked with in the past. Every single manager has done it, and every single successful manager has done it as well, because the buy-in is so much quicker to the tactical profile of what you're asking from the players. So I'm not against it in the slightest. I think he makes a lot of sense. I don't think Osimhen represents a realistic option for us, which means that you can't go into next season with Rasmus Højlund as Manchester United's lead striker. You just can't. There's literally, at no point, no level does that make any kind of sense. So Gyökeres, let's hope he's next. I don't know if he's next. I would love him to be next. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I'll see you lot in the next one. Laters.